We'll move into our next player. A bit of a surprise this guy got on, but kind of not when you think about some of the people who are here. Came on with 24 points, probably one of the toughest guys, possible Hall of Famer. It is Steve Smith Sr.
Definitely a Hall of Famer in my book.
You know NFL and receivers. It's going to be a good one.
The Panthers need to find a receiver that was as much fire and competitive as Steve Smith.
They just traded him.
He didn't have the Steve Smith fire and trash talk, though. They need that.
They're going to find that again.
I really aren't. I mean, look, after we told Akeem to leave, man, this man's trash talk is legendary.
Ice up, son.
Oh,
yeah, I got that on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
I got it on a t-shirt.
That's right, you do. Ice up, son.
Oh man, Steve Smith was great. He was fast, and I wouldn't say like he was tall or short, but somewhere in between. I guess maybe short for a receiver, but it's hard to say.
5'9".
But he had that speed, and he was physical.
And for a guy his size, he was very physical.
Yeah, dude, he would shove people off of him.
Yeah, it was like Derrick Henry-esque, like watching him stiff on people. It was crazy.
So he's 5'9", but you could throw him jump balls and he would get them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so mad at the Panthers when they cut him. Like, it made me so angry.
So disrespectful. I loved it when he came back with Baltimore and he destroyed the Panthers.
Yeah,
Gus is what he said.
I liked watching him on the Ravens. I hated not seeing him in a Panthers uniform, but it was
It was really good on the Ravens.
Yeah, I never rooted against him.
Exactly.
Oh, never.
But there's a famous story of when Steve Smith got drafted. I believe it was second round, I think. But anyways, he told a GM at the time, I forget his name, but he said he told them he was going to be the best player in Panthers history that they would draft. And for the most part, that's true, besides arguably some other guy.
Yeah, he's a third-round pick. Man, I think him and Chad Johnson playing like the same JUCO or community college team. Imagine being the opposing cornerbacks going against those two guys.
Yeah, pick one. You can't cover either of them.
I'll tell you what, Chad Johnson and Steve Smith, though, couldn't play together long in the NFL. Those personalities.
Oh, no.
Bro,
not at
Steve
all.
Smith will get into it with teammates. He broke,
Ken Lucas's nose.
Ken Lucas's arm or something.
I think arm or nose. He whooped his butt. That's all I can tell you.
Like, Steve Smith's only bad season really is the one he played 14 games and only got 500 yards, but that's because I think Jimmy Clausen was tossing to him.
Yeah, when Jimmy Clausen's throwing the ball, you're not really going to be getting many yards.
No, that gave us the next guy, Panthers player we'll talk about.
You don't know if he's on the list.
No, he's on the list, bro.
I'm just shut that down right now. He's on the list.
All right, we're going to our next guy in sixth place, coming in with 29 points. Was voted on by 3 people: myself, Max, Vitamin J. We've talked about this guy before. He's still very relevant. This dude is the most dominant force we have seen in basketball. It is none other than the guy who gives himself his own nicknames, a man who will go down as the greatest center of all time. Just pure class, great on this court, great off the court with his commentary. It is Shaq, the Diesel O'Neal.
I'm sorry, did you say he's the best center of all time?
Yes.
I'm not here to argue that.
I gotta agree with that.
Thank you.
Smart
man. Thank you. Smart man, Big Joshy.
His name is top 2.
Shaq, agree. Phil, you said dominant. He was dominant. Greatest center of all time, you said? Absolutely true.
No.
Facts. There is not a single player on the planet today or in the past or in the future that could ever stop this man from scoring a bucket. Never. You may get him a couple times, but he's going to beat you 98 out of 100 times. You might get 2 stops.
Because you'll be what, Max? You'll be what?
Barbecue chicken. Chicken. You see the way this man abused people down there? They're like, oh, it's a foul. Nah, that's all. Get your weight up, son.
That one clip he had of he was like backing down whatever center it was, maybe from Portland or something.
You talking about that white dude?
Yeah, that white dude. What he dunked on him, pushed him down.
Dolly, what his name was?
Did he threw the ball out? That was crazy. That clip right there will show you Shaq's dominance. He just did not care. He was a force. He was a force in the paint.
And that was like from the get-go in Orlando. He was like just phenomenal.
People think Shaq was always this big fat guy. No, his Orlando stuff and Lakers stuff, for the most part, he could play in any era with that skill set.
Yeah, back when he was breaking backboards.
Yep, running down with the fast break. I mean, this dude, 5th year in his career. He was put on the top 50 players of all time. So Shaq, for me, was also one of the reasons why I got into the NBA. I just really liked the way he played.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites as a kid. I really liked him because, as every kid, you had to pick a side between Kobe and Shaq, and so I picked Shaq. And
Kobe.
You chose right.
I was really happy when he won the title with the Heat, and then Shaq did the rap song and asked Kobe how his ass tastes.
Oh yeah, that was very funny.
Let's let the past be the past because they reconciled this question.
Yeah, they did.
I'm glad they did. You don't want to see people hate each other forever. That's why Scotty and Jordan need to somehow come to terms.
Scotty's got the hate. I mean, my goodness.
Scotty. I don't think Jordan gives him the time of day.
He's not in his tax bracket enough to care.
Jordan does not care.
I think that was the most unstoppable force we probably had seen since like Wilt Chamberlain. There was no denying that guy. He was getting the basket.
And it wasn't like there were no good centers in his era. There were plenty of good centers in his time.
That Western Conference Finals against the Kings, even though that's when most people will say the NBA is rigged, I don't care. Watching Shaq go up against Divock, that was just a pleasure to watch. Because, to me, don't get me wrong, I like foreign players, but, the Kings seem like the villains. Divock has that typical villain name. So I was definitely rooting for Shaq and the Lakers in that one.
Part of one of the greatest 1-2 punches we ever seen in the NBA. And is one of the only teams to go 15-1 in the playoffs. Very close to 16-0 in overtime, and Allen Iverson playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Stopped him from 16-0. So we're going to move on to our next person. Coming in fifth spot with 37 points. Was voted on by 3 people, Josh, Bobby, and the Mountain. We were speaking of one half of this duo. We were going to speak about the other half of this duo. He is the second best shooting guard of all time. He is very much one of the most influential players of his generation, and it coined several terms. He is known to many as the Black Mamba, and many people have coined his mentality, even though it's just a copy of Jordan, but whatever. It is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant.
You see how Phil's trying to down talk our guy?
I am, man.
Trying to do that?
We had to listen to you talk about Tom Brady 30 minutes ago for 30 minutes, man. Come on.
Yeah. When you're host and moderator, guess what? You get the choice. You get the power. You get the power when you are host and moderator.
Can we take a 2-second moment of silence for Kobe, just real quick? Because R.I.P. All right, great. All right, we're talking about favorite players. Kobe's for me is number 2. It's tough to not have him at number 1.
It was tough, Josh. I agree. It was tough not to put him at 1.
Yeah, gone way too soon. The Black Mamba.
That's the only time where a celebrity or sports figure had passed away that I nearly shed a tear at.
Oh, I did cry. I cried for I saw it. I didn't want to believe it. And
I didn't believe it at first.
I was just shocked. Yeah. I was shocked because I was like,
I think
it's like the biggest, highest profile sports death probably.
And I was like, no way. I was heartbroken and disbelief.
Now, when all the NBA teams did the 8-second backcourt violation, 24-second shot clock.
That was
awesome. The eyes were watery. The eyes were getting watery.
Yeah, no, Kobe was like that. The one season where he put up 81, and it's not just that he put up 81; it's that he did for a week, 2 weeks straight, just scoring over 50 points on teams. It was crazy. And then of course all the championships, the electric duo between Shaq and Kobe. It was just great watching them play. That was beautiful basketball. You had Phil Jackson running the triangle offense through Kobe, Derek Fisher, and Shaq, and they just played it to a T. Yeah, the Shaq and Kobe duo was great, but then after that, the Mamba mentality took over. And then I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix special that they did on the Olympic team. Yeah, the Redeem Team, the one that came out a couple years ago. That when they brought Kobe to the Redeem Team, that's what took them to the next level. Yeah, because he wasn't on there at first, but then of course he came in during the summer or something.
Who convinced him? I can't remember if it was Coach K that convinced him to come or.
Yeah, Coach K wanted him.
Carmelo had one of the funniest moments in that documentary. You saw how early Kobe was working out. And he's like, man, Phil, I ain't working out that early. You know, Carmelo, I appreciate that. That's honesty.
Well, that's why Kobe got the rings and he didn't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The Mamba mentality, I think very few players exhibit today. You know, some people try to claim like Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. I don't think they fully exhibit the Mamba mentality, especially Booker.
First, the Mamba mentality is a hard thing to live up to.
Get Booker, huh, Bobby? You just don't like him that much.
Well, no, look, he's a big time trash talker if he's up, but you know, when the chips get down, he falls a lot.
No, he's a millennial, I suppose.
Yeah, which one like texted Kobe? Like, it was after he passed away.
Tatum.
It was Tatum.
He shouldn't have done that.
No,
and if he did do that, he shouldn't have told anybody that he did that.
He should have waited after.
Yeah, if there was. Yeah. Hey, I texted Kobe before the game. This was for you.
So now it's a joke. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He could have kept that to himself. Would have no one known.
Yeah, the only one that worked out was the Lakers when they won. Yeah, they won the championship that year.
No, I will say this about Kobe, and this is to say for for all of his playing career, I would say I was not a fan of him. But a lot of stuff he did after he stopped playing, I really respected what he did. And then as I got older, I could see how great he really was, and I was just being a hater. But he definitely died way too soon because I think he was going to be instrumental in raising up the women's basketball because he was really seemed to care about it. And I feel like women's basketball would be taken a lot more seriously by a lot of maybe fans of his. They maybe would watch it. If Kobe likes it, then I love Kobe.
I still think he has some influence because, especially during the NCAA tournament, they kept talking about Kobe, especially with like Haley Van Lith. Even with Ionescu in the WNBA, they still talk about Kobe.
Yeah.
So he still has an influence. I'm saying, obviously, it would have been bigger if he was still alive. And Gigi, because her clips, her highlight reels were pretty good for a girl.
She was going to be
she was going to
be a star.
I will give Kobe, he was one of those that transitioned well out of basketball. Doing like all the other stuff, doing movies and stuff like that, as well as he was one of the few that like left basketball, and he honestly said he's like people would ask him like, "Do you have any regrets of retiring?" And he would say, "No, I don't. I gave everything to basketball. I have no regrets in my career."
Now I remember I was telling someone after he passed away, I was like, they're asking like he's a legend. I was like, he's a legend, but he's also what you'd say an icon. That's above a legend. If you ask someone to name your NBA player, Kobe's like in the top 5 is what people are gonna name.
The Kobe wave in China is crazy.
Yeah, but he helped popularize basketball in China. I mean, top 10 most influential player of all time.
So shout out to you. Legend gone too soon. We're gonna go on to our next athlete. Speaking of Kobe, we're going to talk about this guy. Arguably one of the greatest to ever play. Still playing and still doing his thing. It is LeBron Ramon James coming in with 40 points voted on by Big Joshy, Vitamin J, and myself.
Seriously?
No, only 3? That's the goat.
Yeah, only 3. Only 3. I don't know how they did.
What number are we at?
We're at number 4.
This is
he should have been higher, but I don't know. These guys.
This is so.
This is disrespectful. I thought we were cool people.
This is no.
I thought we were all.
You hear these guys?
Max Hunter and I never deny his greatness. He's just not my favorite player. I don't deny his greatness.
Oh man,
he is the second best player of all time. I have no issues admitting that.
False, but arguable. And the moment I really, really liked him was back during the 2007 Eastern Conference Finals when he put that Cleveland team on his back and carried it to a final. This game back where I remember watching that whole game and just being astonished. This dude's the real deal.
It's not easy to be dubbed like the chosen one or the next Michael Jordan and actually prove it, but LeBron did that. And for him to still be in the NBA now, like putting in that work, averaging
it stat-wise.
Yeah, exactly. Averaging whatever he's averaging right now, probably like 28 and like 5 or something. Just the longevity of his career and to just be doing it at such a high octane level all these years, you just can't deny LeBron's greatness.
One of the big things that I will also give him over certain other ones no offense to Magic and Jordan, they did not grow up in this social media era where like you can't hide crap nowadays. Like he grew up in an era with social media, with all this stuff you cannot hide, and with all the scrutiny, it's a lot harder to hide all these little. And he's not had really any big controversies of anything really bad.
The only real controversy with LeBron is his mom and his teammate. That's like it.
Well, no, I think that.
And then the decision, people didn't like the decision.
But I'm with you with the decision. Like, yeah, that wasn't. But he even admitted he shouldn't have done that. He would do that differently.
Like he didn't have none of that. His biggest problem was like he threw a party on leaving Cleveland. Like, come on, like he's doing okay if that's his biggest scandal. You know what I'm saying?
And then, like he's apparent, he lies all the time. You know.
Okay, he is not reading that damn book.
That's the one that gets you. It's the book one.
He's not reading the book. He's always at the same page.
And it's crazy, like just like how big his impact is. They're making movies off of like real life and reenactments from like high school. Like who cares about high school? Like LeBron's high school. Oh, okay, I'll watch that. You know? Like, so he just it's a testament to his greatness, in my opinion. I could definitely see him owning a team.
Oh, he's definitely going to own a team. He's definitely going to own a team. He is 100% owning a team.
It'd be hilarious if he owns the Hornets. Like every former great player.
He probably wants to buy
the general manager.
All right, so let's go to the next one. So we're going to go into our number 3. Came in with 41 points, edging the last one by 1 point. This person was voted on by everybody but myself and Max. Actually, the funny thing is the top 3 for the first time ever. I have none of the top 3. So mine is done. I am done, which I'm not surprised. Some of them I'm surprised at how highly you rated him. But this person came off one of the greatest single-season college careers we've ever seen, was the number 1 overall pick, went and helped this franchise out heavily, goes down as arguably one of their greatest players. This guy is the Carolina Panthers' Cam Newton. And might be a little bit overrated by Carolina fans. Just saying.
Now look, we didn't say nothing about Tom Brady being overrated.
Because he's not.
Yes,
he threw 35 touchdowns with the bombs at receiver. He's the best
just couldn't put
line quarterback probably ever.
For now,
he did all that, but like couldn't put together 2 back-to-back winning seasons. I'm sorry, don't you dare back-to-back winning seasons? Is that too much to ask?
Look, yeah, Kevin Benjamin, who I think Booger McFarland, Shannon Sharp said that he was a Popeye biscuit away from being a tight end.
That's Booger McFarland. We'll give credit.
That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, Shockey for 1 year. Yeah, Steve Smith for 2.
He had good tight ends.
I think he had Steve Smith for 3. I believe he played 48 games with Steve Smith.
Yeah, 3 years, first 3 years. And then his next best is Ted Ginn, who's notorious.
Okay, now I will say, you Panthers fans gave Ted Ginn a hard time. He was actually pretty decent. Now, he was not number 1 receiver. I know that. Yeah, but he played pretty decent for the Panthers. He even had 10 touchdowns for the season.
I know, he had 10 touchdowns, but that's
not because of Cam.
That was all Newton.
No, okay, but Ted Ginn was some scrub. He actually was pretty decent. He just kept getting hurt.
Look, it's fun. He'll make some tough catches, then he'll drop an easy touchdown pass.
Like he had 10 plus touches, but he could have had 20 if he just gets some hands, you know.
And man, say Cam Newton took some illegal hits that the refs never called.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like in the first game against the Broncos that 1 year, he took like 5 headshots that they only called 1.
Yeah, I was just about to say if it was Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, they would have got rough in the passer.
Yeah,
Peyton Manning's hitting the floor.
Because guess what? Not all quarterbacks are in the same level. They would have. Star calls.
You over here riding Tom Brady.
He was so electric and charismatic. You know, it was great to watch.
Okay, the fashion is bad. We need to admit that. That is terrible.
I mean, I could do without the church hat, the church lady hat.
Bro, he was not pulling it off. He was not
pulling it off.
That's exactly what I think every time I see it.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
And look, this man has 75 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, that's going to be the record until Jalen Hurts breaks it.
Jalen Hurts ain't getting 75, Max.
Yeah.
You don't know that. He's got like, doesn't Jalen Hurts have like almost 30 already?
Max, you don't want Jalen Hurts to take those types of hits.
Max, as you age, you slow down. So, that 10's going to start turning to a 6, We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Give Cam some good, talented receivers. His career will jump up even more than it already is. Hall of Famer in my book. Hall of Famer in my book.
They honestly should study the Panthers years to see, just to study how egregious the franchise could treat their star player.
A lot of Panthers games that are great, like, with Julius Peppers back in the day, but the whole 2015 season was like that.
Oh gosh,
the whole season, like they lost one game. So I want to say it was the Cardinals.
It was like
and
Falcons.
I don't know if there will ever be another Cam.
I don't think so.
No, I'm hoping Bryce Young can just come somewhat close to Cam.
He doesn't have that like electricity that Cam had. So we'll see. We'll see.
No. I remember like some of these draft experts were saying the Panthers should have drafted Blaine Gabbert over Cam.
There's a certain section of Panthers fans that for some reason don't like Cam Newton.
As a Panthers fan, after Cam Newton's injury downfall, it's crap that we have to witness.
Oh, can we talk about the game he came back with Matt Rule against the Cardinals and he scored on his first play?
Oh, so beautiful.
Oh, can we also talk about how later on, at every game since that point, he Cam Newton over with a game plan?
Oh, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And you know what's funny? Matt Rule would never blame any of his quarterback but Cam Newton.
Listening to him make excuses for Baker Mayfield was so frustrating. But yeah, Cam Newton, the Panthers GOAT in my opinion, and I think he should be a Hall of Famer.
I agree.
We'll see.
Not first ballot, but
Oh, definitely not first ballot.
But definitely a Hall of Famer though.
I think in rushing numbers as well, we'll get him in.
Shout out to Cam. I mean, I will say one of my criticism is Cam wasn't always the greatest leader. I'm just going to throw that out there.
He was a great leader.
And you crap on Booker, but Cam Newton was one of those who did sulk when things were going wrong. He put the towel over his head and started putting his head down.
See, the towel was supposed to be haters like you.
Throw that out there.
The haters like you.
Shielding himself from the haters. That's what, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Bobby points it out there, Booker. I'm like, Cam Newton was a front runner as well. He's a solid player, good player.
Jaquan Hyde over there.
Huh?
All right.
He sucks. Great player. Okay.
He's a great player.
We're going to our number 2 with 40, coming in with 49 points. Everybody but myself and Josh voted for this guy. This man is definitely one of the most meticulous and one of the best at reading the game. He also came in with a lot of hype. He was probably one of the surest things since John Elway when he came in. He helped create a franchise. He built one franchise to greatness and then helped another one win. He also had a fairy tale ending. But it's the man you all know. It is Peyton Manning. Also a pretty funny guy.
Yes. That was going to be part of my reasoning, but this may be controversial to some, and I know Phil's definitely not going to agree with this, but I consider Peyton Manning to be the greatest quarterback of all time. I think if you put Peyton Manning on more teams, he would have higher success than Brady would on different teams.
I agree.
I think he's more not as dependent on the team around him because he was not given the same defenses or coaching that Tom Brady did. Now, Peyton Manning did have good coaches. Tony Dungy, smart. Jim Caldwell is a pretty good coach too. I will give this. The Colts did surround Peyton Manning with great weaponry. He had the 2 receivers. Dallas Clark. Who was the other tight end? Marcus Pollard. Edgerrin James was back there.
Yeah,
so
Harrison and Wayne.
Better weapons.
They did surround him very well on offense, but that let them, aside from the defensive ends, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, and then Bob Sanders when he played. But yeah, I just think throughout his career, he had to carry, because there was a couple of times he carried some really bad teams to 11, 12 wins. Like you said, his preparation and play and his study of film, you can see it during the game of him dissecting the defense and just calling pretty much the right play more times than not. And also outside of football, like you said, he's hilarious. And Manning Cast, he's hilarious. On that Saturday Night Live skit, he has one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life with him going to the football with the kids.
I'll have to agree with you there, Max. I do believe that Peyton Manning is probably the greatest quarterback of all time. I can't put anyone else up there. But for me, it was favorite, not just best. So just like Phil's issue with whoever it was, that's my issue with Peyton Manning. Not only was that, but he did take away the Panthers' hopes of...
Yeah, that did hurt. That did hurt a lot. And a lot of people say Tom Brady owned them, which is true, but except for the AFC Championship game.
I believe Peyton was what 3-1 or something like that.
3-2.
3-1, 3-2. He had a winning record.
It was 3-2. Whoever had home field advantage won.
I bet Tom Brady really deep down thinks if it's not for Peyton Eli, he may have 10 Super Bowls, if not more.
No, if it wasn't for the Mannings, he would have more Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I liked his receivers with the Indianapolis. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. Thought those were
upstanding citizen. Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. Bill Belichick had such respect for Peyton Manning. It was like 4th and 2 at their own 26, and they went for it because he's like, I can't get the ball back to Peyton Manning.
I mean, he was right. They would, no matter what.
Yeah, no matter how much time is left, it's like almost watching Mahomes and Josh Allen play.
I forget who it was. It might have been Terrell Suggs. He said no one feared Brady. I think he said, but they feared Peyton Manning because they knew Peyton Manning was going to dissect that defense.
I mean, I think Tom Brady would have done it too. He's very smart.
Yeah, but now everybody knows when Manning's calling the audible now. Everybody knows Omaha.
Yeah. Omaha! And again, guys, we can't be able to say he had to play for Jim Irsay, one of the most dumb owners, I would say. Not the brightest man.
Coked out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I remember Jim Irsay said, he should have won more Super Bowls. Like, well, maybe if you helped field a team with a good defense, he would have.
It was cool watching him play. He wasn't on my list, but I will say I always had tremendous respect for Peyton Manning. I did actually like to watch him.
And so he can throw some of those beautiful footballs you'll ever see.
Yeah, more times than not, they were perfect throws. I love the quote from Tom Moore, the quarterback coach or offensive coordinator, one of the two. Someone asked him why Jim Sorgi doesn't get much reps in practice because why does Peyton Manning need all the reps? He's so good, so he doesn't need it. Rest his arm, and Tom Moore is like, because we practice the way we play. We don't practice, okay? Because if Peyton Manning goes down, we're fucked.
I mean,
which was true. Which was very true. It was very true.
They went from a playoff team. Then when he got hurt, winning 2 games?
2-14.
Number one.
The season Peyton went down.
Number 1 pick. That's how they got locked.
Before we move on, I just another fun story I like about Peyton Manning is that story Ed Reed told. He said he ran a particular coverage the wrong way for about 3 or 4 weeks before they played Peyton Manning because they knew Peyton Manning would study the film and know in this particular coverage, Ed Reed's going to do this. So when the game came, Ed Reed then did it what he was supposed to do, and of course he got an interception off of Manning. But the fact that he thought he saw it on the schedule, Peyton Manning coming up, he's like, okay, I'm going to do this for the next few weeks.
I've never heard that. That's crazy. Yeah. And that's like just to show you like as far as like one player perspective on how to switch up or like change, like be effective against Peyton Manning. So like I like that. That's a good story. That's great.
I think Bill Belichick said that was the best defensive play he's ever seen.
Yeah, because I mean that's 3D chess right there.
All right, we're gonna go into our number 1. Was voted on by everybody but me. Came in with 69 points.
How many points?
69. Yeah. So this player is probably one of the most iconic sports figures of all time. He had a legendary career bringing this city up. Nobody has ever been able to replace him in the city. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
His royal airness. The GOAT. No, Michael Jordan is just... No. He's the OG. He's the OG GOAT. LeBron might be the new GOAT, but Jordan is the OG GOAT.
There are players before him who were GOATs. So, like,
Jordan is the GOAT. Jordan pretty much created what we view the modern superstar athlete. The branding, of course, you got to play well, but that whole deal of getting the sponsors and all that. I mean, they did it some in the past. Joe Namath famously was like that, but Jordan took it to another level. A major company, Nike, wouldn't be what it is today without him.
Exactly. I was just going to touch on that. Like, as far as endorsements go, a lot of players back then were getting shoe deals, but no one was getting a signature shoe. And that is what essentially brought Nike to the forefront of basketball shoe wear. Because, of course, at the time, Converse and Adidas were the big thing. And then Nike was more primarily a running shoe. When they came over to basketball, they signed Jordan. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. Yeah, they literally made a movie about, like, Michael Jordan's shoe deal. It only had Jordan in it for maybe a tiny not of course the real Jordan, but actor portraying Jordan, maybe only for a little bit, like as far as like a cameo would go. But we were talking about LeBron having a movie about his high school days, but Jordan had a deal about his shoe deal, a movie about his shoe deal. Like, no, you're not doing that unless you're the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like Michael Jordan is the most iconic basketball player on the face of the earth. Probably will always be.
You hear that, you little young nephews out there who hate on Jordan for no reason? You can like both, When
he did Space Jam, I remember watching that, and like I was out there, a little kid singing R. Kelly. Like, I know this isn't R. Kelly, but I'm saying I want to be like Mike, all the Gatorade commercials. Like,
I believe I can fly.
I love Michael Jordan, like back in the day. And I really thought his arm could do that. When he like reached like 40 feet with that arm, I thought he was Mr. Fantastic. He could actually do that. I was like, why doesn't he do this in real life?
If anybody can, he could.
Like for me, that is how I got my start in basketball. Like I got my love for the NBA with Kobe and Shaq and their three-peat, but my love for basketball probably started with Space Jam and Michael Jordan, like right there.
But with Michael Jordan, he was the ultimate competitor. Petty, yes, and sometimes an asshole, yes, but the ultimate competitor. You said one thing to him, he would remember it probably next season and be like, "Oh, you said this? Okay."
He'll take that personally.
He would make up stuff to get upset about.
Yeah, he would make you bet something on it right then.
What was my favorite part of the Last Dance series is like someone says like, "Oh yeah, Cloud was as good as me." I took that personally.
I don't remember if Last Dance came out before COVID or after.
Yeah, it was during.
Yeah, so everybody was hopping on the train. I was like, I couldn't do it. The same thing with like Pokemon Go. I just couldn't hop on the train. Like I was trying to be a rebel. But then I finally did watch Last Dance like about a year ago. I was just in shock, like to see like the behind the scenes, especially like the stuff with Dennis Rodman disappearing. And,
that was go to his hotel room. That's
going on WWE. Like, bro, you're supposed to be in practice. But yeah, no. So that was like it was a good insight on not just. Like, because you see Jordan's games, like those are what happens in the games. The Last Dance gave a different perspective on everything behind the scenes and in between, and I thought it was a good portrayal of his career. But yeah, no, definitely number one on my list, and I'll probably stay there.
All right. So that's our list. Did you agree with our list? Did you not? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you all for the subscriptions. Thank you for your comments. We do always appreciate them. Again, my name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Jim.
And Big Joshy. Thanks, guys.
And may the discussions begin.